Prince Harry is not leaking to the same tabloids he is dragging through the courts. It makes no sense. These are the outlets that hacked his phone, smeared his wife, destroyed his privacy, and even admitted to intruding into the life of his late mother, Princess Diana. They hate him because he is exposing them. They would use anything he gave them to attack him further. Harry is doing what no other royal has done, standing up to Rupert Murdoch's empire, forcing apologies, forcing payouts, and forcing the truth into the light. While others, including his own brother, took secret settlements behind closed doors, Harry chose the harder road. He chose public accountability. The headlines say it all. Murdoch's tabloids apologizing in open court, admitting decades of wrongdoing and paying damages. That didn't happen because the press suddenly grew a conscience. It happened because Harry fought and refused to be silenced. He is not playing their game. He is rewriting it. And for that, he deserves protection, respect, and congratulations. Harry isn't leaking to the tabloids. He's beating them. Prince Harry has been dragged for suing the British tabloids, one after another. But what the critics fail to see is the deeper truth. He is not fighting a petty personal war. He is fighting for justice, for accountability, and for the kind of change that could shake the very foundation of British journalism. For decades, the tabloids wielded unchecked power, intruding on lives, hacking phones, spreading lies, and twisting narratives to suit their own profit. Many victims cried foul, many settled in silence, and most never had the resources or platform to fight back. Harry, however, has done what no other royal dared to do. He challenged the machine, stood in court, and demanded that the truth be dragged into the light. The tabloids hate him for it. They smear him, mock him, and invent stories about him because they know he has done what others were too afraid to even attempt. He has broken the cycle of silence. That is why he will never leak to them, never play their game, never give them the chance to twist his words into weapons. They would love nothing more than for him to slip up and provide material that they could distort. But Harry has been on the receiving end of their cruelty for too long. He knows exactly who they are and exactly what they do, and this time he refuses to let them win. From his earliest years, the press defined his life. He was a child forced to walk behind his mother's coffin in front of a global audience, a boy robbed of privacy, a teenager turned into a tabloid punchline. Every mistake he made, every relationship he had, every misstep was magnified and distorted until it became a headline. The press created a caricature of Harry that was more profitable to them than the reality of who he was. They painted him as the wild one, the reckless prince, while his brother William was elevated as the golden heir. That divide, that deliberate manipulation of narratives, was not an accident. It was strategy. The pattern only worsened when Meghan Markle entered his life. A biracial, independent American woman who spoke her mind and refused to conform was the perfect target for the British tabloids' most poisonous tactics. They unleashed a campaign of misogyny, racism, and lies against her, and in doing so, they hoped to weaken Harry too. Instead, Harry became more determined. He could not protect his mother from the press, but he would protect his wife and children with everything he had. That determination is what led him into courtrooms, into legal filings, into a battle that has already changed the media landscape forever. Critics ask why he bothers. Why take on billion-dollar corporations with armies of lawyers? Why not settle? Why not accept the way things are? But Harry has shown why. In his legal cases, he has forced revelations that otherwise would have remained buried. He exposed that Prince William quietly accepted a massive secret settlement from Rupert Murdoch's firm in 2020, something the world only learned because Harry refused to stop pressing his case. That revelation alone shattered the illusion that all royals are equal in how they handle the press. It showed that while some are willing to accept silence in exchange for money, Harry chose to expose the truth. And then came the moment history will never forget. Murdoch's tabloids, after years of denial and deflection, were forced to apologize to Prince Harry in open court. They admitted to intruding into his life. They admitted to targeting his late mother, Princess Diana. They agreed to pay substantial damages. It was not a gift. It was not a token of regret. It was dragged out of them by Harry's persistence, his courage, and his refusal to let them hide any longer. This victory was monumental not just for Harry, but for the principle of accountability itself. For the first time, the world saw that even the most powerful media empires could be humbled when someone refused to back down. For the first time, Diana's son succeeded where so many others failed. He forced the truth into the open. And yet, even after such victories, the tabloids attempt to twist the story. They float lies that Harry is somehow feeding them information, that he leaks when it suits him, that he plays both sides. But the absurdity of this claim is laughable. Why would Harry, who has taken them to court again and again, who has exposed their corruption and humiliation, suddenly turn around and give them anything? Why would he arm his enemies with the very tools they would use against him? He wouldn't, and he never will. That accusation is nothing more than a desperate attempt to discredit the man who has defeated them in their own arena. Harry's fight is not easy. It has cost him in reputation, in mental health, in constant ridicule from the same institutions he is trying to reform. But courage is not the absence of struggle. It is the willingness to continue despite it. Harry has shown that courage in abundance. His critics may laugh, but history will not. History will remember him as the prince who refused silence, the man who faced down Murdoch's empire, the son who honoured his mother by refusing to let her memory be trampled by lies. Every lawsuit he files, every court appearance he makes, every revelation he drags into the light is not just about him. It is about a broken system that has harmed countless people. Celebrities, ordinary citizens, grieving families, all have been exploited by the tabloids, yet most lack the power to fight back. Harry is fighting for them too. When Murdoch's lawyers are forced to apologise to him, they are also apologising, indirectly, to every victim they thought they could crush without consequence. Harry's victories are their victories. His persistence is their hope. That is why he deserves congratulations, not condemnation. He deserves to be celebrated for his resilience, for his refusal to take the easy path of silence, for his determination to protect Meghan, Archie and Lilibet from the same horrors he endured. He deserves to be defended against the smear that he leaks, because his every action proves the opposite. He is not colluding with the tabloids, he is dismantling them piece by piece. And this is only the beginning. Harry's legal battles are far from over. More cases are lined up for next year, more revelations are certain to come. The tabloids will continue to resist, to lie, to smear, but the cracks in their power are already showing. They have been forced to pay, forced to apologise, forced to admit what they spent years denying. Each case Harry pursues widens those cracks, and eventually the entire rotten structure may collapse. This is what courage looks like. This is what justice looks like. This is what it means to truly honour Diana's memory, not by bowing to the press as others have done, but by confronting them, exposing them, and making them answer for their crimes. Harry has become a symbol, not of rebellion, but of accountability. He is a reminder that even the most powerful institutions can be challenged if someone is brave enough to stand up and refuse to be silent. He will not leak to them. He will not play their game. He is not their ally. He is their reckoning. And for that, he should be congratulated, defended and supported, not just by those who love him, but by anyone who believes in the right to privacy, the right to dignity, and the truth. Prince Harry's battle with the tabloids is about more than newspaper headlines. It is about power, about truth, about the dangerous bargain that the British establishment has made with the press for generations. For decades, royals have traded silence for favourable coverage, allowed leaks in exchange for protection, and sacrificed dignity for survival in the media's ruthless game. But Harry has broken that pattern. He has declared that his family will not be bartered away, that his privacy will not be sold, and that his children will not grow up as pawns of the same media machine that hounded his mother to her death. The tabloids cannot forgive him for this rebellion. To them, he was supposed to play the role of the spare, the reckless prince who could be mocked, pitied, and humiliated without consequence. His brother, the heir, was the one they would protect in exchange for palace favours. Harry was supposed to stay in his lane, accept his treatment, and remain in the shadows. But instead, he chose independence. Instead, he married a woman who refused to conform to their script. Instead, he left the country, rebuilt his life in America, and started using the very weapon they fear most, the law. The British press is accustomed to shaping reality, to deciding what the public believes and what the public forgets. They thrive on the illusion of invincibility, but Harry's lawsuits tear that illusion apart. Every filing, every court date, every revelation is a reminder that their power is not absolute, that their actions are not beyond scrutiny. It unsettles them deeply because it undermines the foundation of their influence: fear. Most victims are too afraid, too powerless, or too exhausted to fight. Harry, however, has refused to bow. That makes him dangerous to them, not because he leaks, but because he doesn't. He refuses to participate in their system of compromise and corruption. Consider how extraordinary it is that a senior member of the royal family is willing to stand in a witness box, submit himself to cross-examination, and expose his own vulnerabilities in order to prove the truth. For centuries, royals have avoided the courtroom, preferring quiet deals and dignified distance. Harry shattered that tradition. He put himself on the line, not for vanity, but because he understood that the stakes were greater than his reputation alone. If he won, he would prove that the press is not untouchable. If he lost, at least the world would see the scale of their misconduct. Either way, he would not remain silent. This is why the press lashes out with such venom. They fear him because he cannot be controlled. They accuse him of leaking, of hypocrisy, of bitterness, because those are the only weapons left. But each accusation rings hollow. Each attempt to discredit him only reminds the world that they are grasping at straws. Harry has no incentive to leak. He has nothing to gain from feeding stories to the very outlets he is suing. On the contrary, he has everything to lose if he were to compromise his position. That is why their claims collapse under the weight of logic. It is projection, a desperate tactic to muddy the waters and convince the public that all players are equally guilty. But Harry's actions prove otherwise. The courage he has shown is not only in court, but in the persistence of his mission, despite the personal cost. He knows the toll it takes. Every court battle is long, draining, and stressful. The headlines about him are cruel and mocking, designed to sap his strength. But he presses on. He knows that Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet deserve a different reality, one where their lives are not dictated by falsehoods, where their private moments are not sold for profit, where their dignity is not sacrificed for clicks. He is fighting for them as much as for himself, and in this fight, he is also honouring his mother in the most profound way possible. Diana's struggles with the press are legendary. She was hounded, vilified, and stripped of her privacy until her tragic death in Paris. Harry was just a boy then, forced to endure grief in public, forced to walk behind her coffin with the world watching. That trauma has never left him. In many ways, it defined him. Now, as an adult, he is refusing to let the same forces destroy his wife or traumatize his children. He is breaking the cycle, and in doing so, he is redeeming the pain of his past. He is telling the tabloids, loud and clear, that the days of exploiting Diana's son are over. This determination has already yielded victories. When Murdoch's tabloids apologized in January 2025, it was more than a legal win. It was a moral triumph. To hear an institution that once denied, deflected, and attacked finally admit wrongdoing was seismic. For Harry, it was validation not only of his persistence, but of his belief that truth matters, that justice is possible even against giants. The apology was not simply words. It was an acknowledgement that he had forced them into accountability. It was proof that his battle is working. But the tabloids are not finished. They never are. They will continue to smear, to invent, to claim he is leaking or desperate or bitter. They will continue because their power depends on keeping him in a negative light. Yet every smear now comes with a shadow, the knowledge that Harry has beaten them before, and he can beat them again. Every lie they print carries the risk of becoming the next lawsuit, the next humiliating apology. He has changed the game, and they know it. What makes Harry's fight so important is that it is not only for the elite. When the press admits to hacking his phone or invading his privacy, it sets a precedent for every victim of similar tactics. When a royal wins damages, it strengthens the cases of ordinary people who were wronged. Harry is, in effect, using his platform to make the press answer for crimes that would otherwise remain hidden. That is why he is not just protecting his family, he is protecting the principle of privacy for everyone. The world has taken notice. Across the globe, Harry's lawsuits are watched closely, not because of celebrity gossip, but because they symbolize something bigger. The idea that no one, not even Murdoch's empire, is above the law. In America, in Europe, in Australia, people recognize that what he is doing matters beyond the British monarchy. It is a universal struggle between truth and manipulation, between accountability and impunity. For this, he deserves not ridicule, but respect. He deserves congratulations for refusing to settle quietly, for exposing William's secret deal, for forcing admissions that otherwise would never have surfaced. He deserves protection from the smear campaigns designed to silence him. Above all, he deserves to be seen for what he truly is, a man of courage who chose the hard path because it was the right one. When the history of this era is written, Harry's role will not be that of a bitter exile or a reckless prince, as the tabloids try to paint him. It will be that of a reformer, a disruptor, a man who stood against corruption, even when it cost him dearly. He will be remembered as the son who avenged his mother by forcing her tormentors into the light. He will be remembered as the husband who defended his wife against a system designed to destroy her. He will be remembered as the father who built a safer future for his children. And he will be remembered as the royal who refused to be silenced. To all my curious Sussex family, thank you all for watching. And do not forget to subscribe, like and put a comment. Bye-bye. See you then in our comments section.